Hippocrates is considered the father of medicine, enemy of superstition, pioneer of rationality, and fount of eternal wisdom. Statues and drawings show him with a furrowed brow, thinking hard about how to heal his patients. And today, the internet is full of claims that if you follow a supposedly Hippocratic diet of raw organic foods, or concentrate on one of his alleged favorite foods, such as watercress, you will be healed. Hippocrates. The most famous of the treatises linked to his name over time is the Hippocratic Oath, which has sometimes been taken by medics as they vow to uphold ethical standards in their profession. And what a model it offers. In the oath, doctors are to keep away from abortion and euthanasia. They must not blurt out their patients' secrets, nor should they have sex with patients, men or women, free or slave. But in fact, the Hippocratic Oath has nothing to do with Hippocrates. So why has it been attached to his name? The real Hippocrates. The reality is that not just the Oath, but the 60 or so other ancient Greek treatises on medicine that we call the Hippocratic corpus are all anonymous. They were written over many centuries in different Greek dialects. They also have different ideas about the body and healing. So, classics scholars today are clear that they can't all have been written by one man. The philosopher Plato gave the only near-contemporary account of the real Hippocrates behind the myths. Hippocrates was known well enough as a physician in the ancient world that people would recognize him by name. From Plato, we know that Hippocrates came from the island of Kos, close to the coast of what is now Turkey, and taught medicine for a fee. He was an Asclepiad, which could mean one of a family claiming descent from the god of medicine, Asclepios, or just a healer. But it is not clear what beliefs he held about healing. Anything else you read about the historical Hippocrates is made up. There are no recorded dates about his existence. Plato's references would put him at around 430 BC, but if you read any firm birth and death dates, they are figments of someone's imagination. Making up a story, Hippocrates is an extreme example of our human desire to tell a story and to establish founders. Different facets of the surviving medical treatises from ancient Greece were taken out and merged to create his personality, and, later, a whole biography. People made up family trees for him and speculated, with no evidence, on his education and character. So we imagine Hippocrates as a caring and attentive person, simply because some ancient Greek treatises talk about observing patients very carefully. Because the treatise on the sacred disease talks about seizures as coming not from the gods but from an imbalance of phlegm in the body, we think of Hippocrates as someone who rejected anything superstitious. And because one surviving treatise is the Oath, Hippocrates is also linked to high moral standards. What does the Oath really say? Most of the lines in the Oath are not about treating patients at all. Instead, they are about physicians teaching each other's sons without charge, and taking care of their old teachers. Whichever group of ancient physicians came up with this document, their first concern was with their identity as a group. Even the famous lines about euthanasia and abortion are far less straightforward than we expect. There is actually no ban in the Oath on euthanasia in our modern sense of an option when a person is suffering from an incurable condition. The word is from the Greek, meaning good death. But for an ancient Greek, a good death was that of a young man in his prime dying on the battlefield. Instead, the Oath suggests a much broader concern for keeping control of potentially fatal drugs, rather than handing them out to those who could misuse them. As for abortion, the Oath says, I will not give an abortive pessary. The wording here is the most common of the verbs to give, which means it is hard to know whether the sense is just hand over or a more technical administer. And it leaves open the possibility of an abortive drug taken by another route, by mouth, being administered by a physician. Maybe the real worry in the oath here is about the pessary, as a particularly potent mode of administration. Or, again, about letting drugs pass out of the hands of the physician to those who may misuse them. Hippocrates, a name that has become a symbol of medicine, of reason, and of the fight against superstition. Yet, as we've just seen, behind that glowing reputation lies a far more complex truth. A shadowy historical figure, a collection of medical writings with no single author, and a famous oath that was never truly his. This reminds us that history is not just about remembering dates or attaching great names to great ideas. History is the ongoing process of storytelling, of myths being built, reshaped, and passed down. Hippocrates is proof of humanity's deep need for founders, for guiding figures we can believe in, even if those figures are partly imagined. And from this truth, we learn an important lesson. Rather than clinging to legends, we must seek the essence of history itself. Only by understanding the past as it really was can we see the present more clearly and shape the future with wisdom. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe to Before Wi-Fi, and hit the bell icon, so you won't miss more stories that uncover the hidden depths and surprising truths behind the names you thought you knew.